Hello and welcome to today's Hangout. We got lots of characters and people in today's story. Shall I show you some of them? Look, we've got a group over there. We got some women over there, some guys there. We got all these people over here with coats. We got this person with coats, and we got a pile of stones. It's a fascinating story that isn't good, but it changes the direction of everything that's happening in the early church. Because the disciples, the 12 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yep, the 12 disciples were doing a really good job telling people about Jesus and healing people, and they were sharing all their belongings, and everyone was happy. Well, not everyone, because over here were groups of women, and they were all widows. Their husbands had died, and they were arguing with each other because they thought the other ones were being cared for more than them. So the disciples thought, what we need to do is ask some other people to help. So they found 7 men who were full of faith and full of the Holy Spirit to help out. They called them deacons or helpers, and they were really good at helping out all the women to make sure that they were happy and they could stay friends together. One of these men, this one here, was called Stephen. He was Stephen, and he was richly blessed by God. People said that when you looked at his face, it looked like the face of an angel. And one day, he went to the temple. He went to the temple and he explained to everyone there all about what had happened in the history of God's people. He talked about Joseph, and he talked about Moses, and he talked about some of the other prophets. And he said, you people rejected all of them, and now you have rejected Jesus, who is God's own Son. These people ground their teeth in anger. They shook their fists. They were not happy at all. Stephen looked to heaven and said, I see heaven open, and Jesus is seated at the right hand of God. These people covered their ears. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. They ran outside, put their coats at the feet of a man called Saul. They all went out here. They put their coats at the feet of this man here called Saul. They all gathered around Stephen. And then they were so angry, they picked up stones and threw them at Stephen. They threw them, they kept throwing them until he was almost dead. And then Stephen looked up and said, God, receive my spirit, and don't be angry with all these people who have killed me. And they threw stones at him, and they threw more stones until he died. Saul, with all the coats in front of him, was very happy. And from that moment on, all the disciples and all their friends started to go off in different directions, because if they stayed in Jerusalem, they were killed, or their families were killed, or their houses were burnt down, or they were put in prison. Do you remember at the beginning of our stories, Jesus said, "You will be my witnesses, you will tell people about me in Jerusalem and to the ends of the world." How were they going to get to the ends of the world? Well, because of this one day when Stephen was killed, and persecution, which is the big word, which means people being harmed for their faith, persecution began amongst all the Christians, and they went all over the world. They were spread all over the world. When bad things happen, God often has a bigger, better plan. When tough things happen, God might be doing something really good, because He wants everyone to know His love. See you Hangout Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Bye bye.